involved excitement or just a bit of relief more than anything?
I think relief. It was a brave performance, but no. Well, look, anytime you come to Queensland and win, you're going to be happy. So, extremely happy.
You powered through the middle.
Yeah, it was sort of one of those games, like it was a slow ruck, so you had to go forward. You couldn't move the ball, so you just had to run hard.
How pleased were you with the way that right edge attacked?
Sorry, mate?
How pleased were you with the way the right edge attacked?
Yeah, I was happy with aspects of our game. Like it was just, it was hard to get things on. Their line speed was exceptional, very good. And they controlled the ruck really well. So we've got areas that we can be better at.
Isaah, you said the other day that you're preparing to lead them in for the first time, but you're the first one that was going to get booed. How did that feel, leading them off the park after that ambush?
Yeah, it was certainly good. I was going to touch on this awe about it, but really there's no better place to play, I don't think. Like, as much as it calls our home stadium, but you get 50,000 here, the whole joint's rocking, feels like it's on top of you. So, like any time you can play up here is special. Playing this arena is special for your state, but then being able to lead it was, it was a really proud week. Certainly don't take it for granted for sure, but certainly just tried to just be myself throughout the whole thing. But it was nice to come up here and particularly seeing how much we put into the whole week, the sort of conversations we have behind the scenes, the preparation. It wasn't perfect, but I just felt like we handled it really well. And then to come up here, and I thought our first half was exceptional. So with the second half still probably a little bit to work on. Probably took us a little bit too long to correct ourselves in certain areas. That's what happens in Origin football. The swings of momentum, and they could certainly feel it too when the tide had turned. So it's some really big plays at big moments, and then we'll probably get confidence out of that as well.
We did Suncorp's rare, particularly to do it in an opener. Like, how far can your team go now from here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. All I know is we do a really good job as a group of just sort of internalising it and just worrying about sort of the week ahead. So I felt like we did that throughout the whole week. We weren't worried too much about the Wednesday. We just wanted to make sure every session was really good, and I felt like we did that. I felt like we got better as the week went on with our sessions. It was obviously nice to come up here too because the weather was a bit better. We were under the pump there at Laurie for a couple of days, but I'm just really proud of how they it was just process driven, and you sort of get out in this environment, get out in the field today, and I was really pleased with the start. So and that's a big part. It's a big part in this arena. The start's important for both teams, and I felt like we handled that well tonight.
Laurie, can you tell us a little bit about, now that the game is won, how worried you were about Stephen Crichton? He certainly didn't look like he was struggling out there at all.
Yeah, he was in doubt. Yeah, he was in doubt. It was a pretty bad cork, but our physios did an amazing job all week with Payne and Critter, because Payne's injury, we weren't sure with that either. But they were patient with him. Like Payne, I think, probably had not even half a session, a quarter of a session on the Monday, and we did nothing on the Tuesday, so he hadn't really trained, and then to push out the minutes and be strong the way he was great. Yeah. Critter was fantastic, and I think the word they said to me, Critter's right to go, because he said, they asked him this morning how was he, and he said he was mad. So that's obviously good.
That works.
Yeah.
Laurie, the man outside Zach Lomax, he continues to stamp his authority on State of Origin, I guess. How did you sum up his performance tonight? Yeah,
he was great, and we needed him to be, in particular at the back of the field. He and Brian, they did a fantastic job. They're coming off limited games too, so could have been underdone, but they just pushed and made the blue jersey proud, which is what we wanted them to do.
Yeah, you've won in Brisbane now. Games in Perth and Sydney ahead. Does that change the way the players are thinking at all? The fact that you've already won here in Queensland?
No, I'd hope not. I'd like to think we get confidence out of it. I think any time you win in this arena, you should get confidence out of that. But Games 2 and 3, you got another week together, another week to prepare. I feel like the games are better as well. There's probably a bit more thrown at you in games 2 and 3. But yeah, we've touched on. There's areas in our game that we can get better at, which is exciting. You obviously don't want to go and play the perfect footy and sort of have nothing to fall back on. Whereas, obviously, really happy with aspects, but then there's areas that we can be a lot better. So, I'd like to think we take some confidence out of it, but it's a long way to go. So, the 2 weeks in between, and obviously, boys playing NRL. And obviously trying to get through that unscathed, but yeah, there's a while between the next game, so yeah, certainly not sort of focusing on that, and still a bit to go yet.
Laurie, what did you make of Nathan and Mitchell and the halves together?
Yeah, I thought they were great. Yeah, and again, first time they've played together. It's difficult when you bring new people together, but no, I thought they were terrific. I thought Nath really threatened with the ball. Mitch was good. Defensively, they were both strong. That's a underrated part of their game as well. Just for little blokes to just get in front and make the tackle on big blokes is pretty impressive.
You're going to have a goal kick-off next week?
Sorry?
You're going to have a goal kick-off next camp?
Yeah, that's Yoey's job to get Nath kicking.
Well, nice if we jagged a couple more.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's a good day to have off, isn't it? Good day to have off. But knowing, I don't know Nath that well because I haven't worked with him. But just to see the way that he prepares, I know it'd be burning him, and I know that he won't be like that again. So, but he'll do whatever it takes to. Yeah, he'll be right.
Laurie Payne was a machine.
I don't. Yeah, for a big bloke, limited prep, like a 10-day prep with hardly any running, because we had to make sure that he was right. To jump out of the ground and do what he did was inspirational, actually.
Laurie, you mentioned at the start about the ruck speed, how it slowed down. And you got a team with a lot of strike out wide. Were you comfortable with the way it was officiated and heading into game 2? Would that be a concern of yours?
Oh, not a concern. They were just better than we were. They were really good at it. So we're going to be better. We found it difficult because their forwards were getting into us, and they were winning the ruck, and it was hard. But that was credit to them. And
Just before half time, so turn the momentum a little bit with Brian going to the sin bin. Did you have thoughts on that?
Look, I think he went up to contest, and then obviously, in a split second, he's had his hand on his shoulder. If you slow anything down, you can turn it into whatever you want. But that's the challenge you face when you come here. And our blokes were really good at half time about it. We handled it okay. Could have handled it a bit better. There were aspects of the second half that we'll be better at. But it is what it was.
What about for you being back here? I guess Cameron went to you a few times. You sort of riding the emotion and the high. What was it like for you being back in this arena after such a long break?
Oh, it was great. Just working with Yoey and the team. I mean, they do all the work. And for me in particular, it's great to have a great assistant coaches. We've got great management. The players really drive and buy into everything that we do. But it's only camp 1, so we'll see what they're like when they bounce into game 2. Because one thing I know about Origin is there's always a response. You get hit in the face, there's a response next game.
Or do you recognise the game's changed at all since you've been in this arena before?
In what way?
I don't know. What did you make of it?
You're asking the question. I don't know.
Has it changed at all?
No, there's different rules. It's faster. Blokes still have to tackle, blokes still have to run, blokes still have to have courage.
Thoughts on Max King tonight?
Great. I thought he was terrific. A guy that debut coming off the bench. He's a talker. Maxie. He chews your ear off, but he's a good bloke. He's a really good bloke.
Laurie, you obviously went into the game with a couple of injury clouds. Any injuries that you know of to come out of that match?
Nothing too serious.
Chipping away.
I think you got to wait till tomorrow, but I don't think there's anything too serious. You know, there might be, well, there's bumps and bruises, obviously, but in terms of this weekend, then I don't know. I can't give you an exact answer on that.